Georgia, you haven't won the Hampstead Town by-election today. What do you think has fueled this result?
Well, firstly, congratulations to Linda and the Liberal Democrats for their win. Obviously, we're disappointed. I think it was always going to be a really tough by-election for us because unfortunately our elected Labour candidate had to stand down. So it was a tough ask asking people to go back for a by-election so soon after the locals. But we're really proud of the candidate we put forward, Alex. She's lives and breathes Hampstead Town, and she fought a really great campaign, and I think she did a brilliant job. But yeah, it was a tough election for those circumstances. We're really focused on delivering for the whole of Camden, including Hampstead Town. Just today we've launched our cost of living fund. It was a £2 million investment that we promised in the local election, so we're fulfilling that. We know there are huge issues in Camden and we're focused on delivering for our residents.
So do you think Hampstead felt let down by the fact that you only had a candidate for a matter of weeks?
Yeah, of course, it was really not an ideal situation that we had somebody whose personal circumstances changed. They weren't able to take up the role, and people really asking people to go out and vote so soon after the local elections was really difficult. And I think that more than anything, that was what the result was about. People didn't want to. Many people didn't want to vote Conservative, who usually would, because of the absolute chaos that they're in. But they felt disappointed with Labour. And so, we will be working hard to build back that trust with the residents of Hampstead Town. Alex stood in the local election. She stood again, deeply committed to the area. We really care about Hampstead Town as a Labour administration, and we'll seek over the years to come, even though we didn't win, to really be there for residents and for that community.
So it's not just like was an added bonus where you've got so many seats in Camden Labour. It wasn't just like a kind of little where we can win that one as well. You've got so many seats at the moment, Labour. You're in a good position even though you've lost today.
Yeah, we had a historic victory at the local elections, which was brilliant. We ran on, I think, a really bold vision for the borough. In the midst of the cost of living crisis, the climate crisis, we need councils who are going to take really strong action to support communities. And of course, we want to deliver and represent residents in every part of the borough. So it's important to us. It was a surprise that we won in Mayor, but it's Hampstead Town is as important to us as any other part of Camden.
And the reason some people said that you won that surprise in Hampstead was perhaps unpopularity with Boris Johnson. And of course, this election took place on the day that Boris Johnson resigned. Well, how do you think things panning out now that Mr. Johnson's done that statement?
So Boris Johnson had to resign because his behaviour had got to had been so despicable that even the Conservative MPs who propped him up just weeks before knew that enough was enough. But make no mistake, this was about self-interest. We've always known who Boris Johnson is. We knew when he tried to prorogue Parliament, when he lied to the British people. He's always had a slapdash attitude to the rules, and the Conservative Party supported him for years, and they've stopped supporting him now. But it's the same people. We've had 12 years now of Conservative rule, and everything in our country is getting worse. We're seeing some of the worst poverty we've ever seen, and it's been growing every single year. Our communities are suffering, and this Conservative government, or any Conservative government that comes forward, have nothing to offer. So we desperately need a Labour government to really transform things in Britain.
But has that excuse gone away? Oh, it's Boris Johnson. Is it now harder for Labour to kind of potentially come up against someone who doesn't have the same character traits and behaviour as Boris Johnson?
It's about the Conservative Party. As I say, we've had 12 years of the Conservative Party, and look at the challenges we're facing in our community. People struggling to turn on the electricity, parents having to go without meals to feed their children. This hasn't happened overnight. We've seen food banks spiralling since 2010. This is the legacy of a Conservative government. They've made all sorts of promises, but things have not improved for communities anywhere in the UK. So they've run out of ideas. Whoever's leader, we need a change.